This is Grab's story. Grab is one of the most popular ride-hailing apps in Southeast Asia. It was founded in 2012 and today operates in over 330 cities across 8 countries, including Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, India, and China. Grab has grown to become a super app that provides a wide range of services such as booking taxis, private cars and motorbike taxis, food, delivery, financial services, and more. The company has also raised over $7 billion in funding from investors like Toyota, Hyundai, Singapore's Sovereign Wealth Fund, and more. But despite all this success, there are still many people who don't know how Grab actually makes money. So here's the story of Grab, the ride-hailing giant from Malaysia that's taking on Uber and Gojek. The story began in 2012 when 2 guys named Anthony Tan and Tan Hui Ling decided to start an e-commerce business in Malaysia. They called it MyGrab, but soon realized that there was no demand for their products. So they pivoted to providing a different kind of service, a taxi hail. At first, drivers were reluctant to join their platform because they had to pay a commission fee. But once they launched a loyalty program that rewarded drivers with freebies and discounts, more drivers signed up. They also partnered with credit card companies to offer passengers incentives like discounts and free rides. And by the end of 2012, they had over 1,000 taxis on board. In 2013, MyGrab changed its name to Grab and expanded to Singapore. They faced stiff competition from local taxi apps like Taxicabby and others from regional players like EasyTaxi and Uber. But they managed to stand out by focusing on 3 things: convenience, affordability, and safety. Their app allowed passengers to book rides with just a few taps and pay directly with their Grab accounts or credit cards. They also offered transparent pricing, so passengers knew exactly how much their ride would cost before they got in the car. And they provided features like driver ratings and reviews, SOS buttons, and real-time ride tracking to ensure passenger safety. As Grab grew in popularity, it attracted the attention of venture capitalists, who saw the potential of the ride-hailing market in Southeast Asia. In 2014, Grab received its first big investment from Vertex Growth Capital, a Japanese venture capital firm. This gave them the funding they needed to expand to more cities and countries, improve their technology, and hire more staff. By 2016, Grab had become the dominant ride-hailing app in Southeast Asia and even expanded to other services like food delivery, courier services, and mobile payments. But Grab's success didn't come easy. It faced many challenges along the way, such as regulatory hurdles, driver shortages, customer complaints, and financial losses. However, Grab persevered and continued to innovate and adapt to the changing needs of its customers and the market. For example, in 2017, Grab launched Grab Pay, a mobile payment platform that allows users to pay for rides, food, bills, and more with their Grab accounts. This helped them to increase user engagement and revenue from transactions. Also in 2017, Grab launched Grab Kiosks, a network of physical touchpoints where users can top up their Grab Pay balances, pay for their rides or other services, or buy items from merchants. This helped them to reach users who didn't have smartphones or internet access and expand their services to offline businesses. Another challenge that Grab faced was the competition from other ride-hailing apps like Uber, Ola, and Didi. Uber was especially fierce as it was a global giant with deep pockets and a strong brand. But Grab didn't back down. It fought back by offering more competitive prices, more services, and more promotions. For example, in 2018, Grab launched Grab Unlimited, a subscription service that gives users unlimited rides within a certain limit for a monthly fee. This was a direct challenge to Uber's main revenue source, surge pricing, which charges passengers higher fares during peak hours or events. Grab also faced backlash from drivers who complained about low wages, high commissions, and long waiting times. Grab responded by launching Grab Driver, an app that helps drivers to manage their trips, earnings, and expenses. They also introduced features like driver support chat, driver events, and driver promotions. But despite these efforts, many drivers still prefer to work for other platforms that offer higher pay or fewer restrictions. Despite all these challenges, Grab has managed to grow into a unicorn startup valued at over $1 billion and has expanded to other industries like insurance, healthcare, and Grab also acquired Uber's Southeast Asia business in 2018 for $1 billion in cash and stock, giving them a huge boost in market share and resources. Today, Grab is one of the largest and fastest-growing startups in Southeast Asia, with over 150 million users and 3 million drivers across 8 countries. They have also raised over $7 billion in funding from investors like Toyota, Hyundai Singapore's Sovereign Wealth Fund, and more. And they are still going strong. So how does Grab make money? Now that we know how Grab became a successful business, let's look at how they actually generate revenue. Grab has several sources of income, but they can be grouped into 3 main categories: commissions, fees, and investments. Commissions are the main source of revenue for Grab as a ride-hailing platform. Whenever a passenger books a ride on Grab, they charge both the passenger and the driver a commission fee. The fee varies depending on the type of ride, distance, and other factors. For example, for a normal taxi ride, they usually charge around 10 to 20% commission. For a private car ride, they might charge around 20 to 30% commission. And for a motorbike taxi ride, they could charge around 30 to 40% commission. These commission fees are how Grab makes most of their money and how drivers make their income. Fees are another source of revenue for Grab. Grab charges passengers and drivers various fees for using their platform, such as booking fees, cancellation fees, late fees, toll fees, airport fees, and more. These fees are usually small amounts, but they add up over time and contribute to Grab's overall revenue. For example, they might charge a small booking fee for using their app, or a cancellation fee for canceling a ride. They also charge a service fee for certain types of rides, such as airport transfers or delivery services. These fees are usually displayed up front, so passengers know how much they will be charged. Investments are a newer source of revenue for Grab. Grab has been investing in various startups and companies across Southeast Asia in recent years. They have made investments in fintech companies, insurance companies, healthcare companies, e-commerce companies, and more. These investments allow Grab to diversify its revenue streams and tap into new markets and services. For example, they invested in a mobile payments company, a digital bank, and an insurance broker. They have also been expanding their own financial services such as lending, insurance, and wealth management. These investments in financial services are still relatively small compared to their ride-hailing business, but they have potential to grow significantly in the future. Grab is a good example of a company that used the problem-solution-problem approach to business. First, they identified a problem that needed to be solved, which was the lack of a convenient and affordable way to hail taxis in Southeast Asia. Then they created a solution for that problem, which was a mobile app that connected passengers with nearby taxis. And then they identified another problem that needed to be solved, which was how to motivate drivers to join their platform and provide good service. They created another solution for that problem, which was a loyalty program that rewarded drivers with freebies and discounts. And they kept repeating this process as they grew and expanded to new markets and services. Grab is a good example of a company that used the lean startup methodology to grow quickly and scale up their business. They started with a basic product that solved a simple problem. Then they tested it with real users and got feedback from them. They iterated on their product based on the feedback and improved it over time. They also focused on customer development and built relationships with key stakeholders in the taxi industry, such as taxi operators, driver unions, and government agencies. They also used growth hacking techniques to acquire new users and expand their reach, such as offering discounts and promotions, partnering with other businesses, and using social media. Grab is a good example of a company that used the blue ocean strategy to create new demand and capture a large market share in Southeast Asia. They did not try to compete with existing players in the ride market by offering the same services or targeting the same customers. Instead, they created a new market for ride-hailing in Southeast Asia, which was dominated by taxis and had many unmet needs and untapped potential. They also focused on customer creation and targeted a wide range of customers across different segments and income levels, as well as different types of rides and use cases. They also used differentiation and focused on providing a better, more convenient, more affordable, and more reliable ride-hailing experience than taxis. Now that we know how Grab works and how they make money, let's talk about some of the lessons we can learn from their story. Grab is a great example of a company that was able to solve a simple problem in a clever way and grow into a massive business. They were able to do this by focusing on 3 key things: convenience, affordability, and safety. They made it easier, cheaper, and safer for people to hail taxis in Southeast Asia, and they were able to scale up their business by replicating this model in other cities and countries. Grab is also a great example of a company that was able to grow quickly by using innovative growth hacking techniques. They were able to attract both passengers and drivers to their platform by offering discounts and promotions. They also partnered with other businesses and influencers to reach more people. They also used social media to engage with their customers and build a strong community. Finally, Grab is a great example of a company that was able to build a strong brand and a loyal customer base by focusing on customer obsession and customer delight. They were able to create a positive emotional connection with their customers by providing excellent customer service, by listening to customer feedback, and by constantly improving their product. They also created fun and memorable experiences for their customers through their app design, their marketing campaigns, and their social media content. If you want to learn more about Grab, check out the links in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos about startups and business. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.